Good to see everybody. Sorry I muted you all. Sorry, not sorry. No, sorry. So sorry. Okay, let's give the shoulders a roll out here. Whew. Mine feel extra crunchy. It's just been kind of a crazy Thursday here. Let's roll forward. I'm not sure why. Again, when all else fails, you say that Mercury is retrograde, which it is right now. So it can be a lovely excuse any time of year, I feel, but especially 3 times a year. You're talking to all of the astrology yogis. All right. So let's go ahead and come to a nice tall seat. Just glance down at your feet. You want to make sure that you're landing about hips distance apart, knees over your ankles, root down into your sit bones. You might want to scoot forward in your chair a little bit so you can sit nice and tall. Find that idea of those shoulders rolling back so you have that openness across your heart and chest. Hands can come to your thighs. And then go ahead and close your eyelids. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Again, smooth, full, deep inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. One more time like that. Fill up. And let the breath go. Ha. Allow the lips to seal and start to inhale through your nose. And then also exhale through your nose. And then just continuing like that. So finding that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath. There's a little effort to this breath. You're constricting the sides of your throat. So there's a little bit of a sound. It's like ocean waves rolling in and out. Not quite tsunami size waves. Think smaller than that. If the image of waves isn't working for you, you could think that Darth Vader sound. Sometimes it's just nice to go a little darker. So it's like choose your own image adventure here. But do start to bring your attention to your breath. So everything else just starts to fade into the background. You are giving yourself permission to be focused and quiet, to pay attention here. This next 50 to 60 minutes together. As you're sitting here breathing, focusing on your breath, maybe you start to pay attention to how your body is feeling. Where is there a sense of ease, a sense of space? Where are the places that are feeling a little sticky, a little congested? So just kind of making a little mental map of that, and we're going to see how things shift as we move together. From time to time, you're going to notice that you get distracted. You get your attention wanders to sounds happening in the room that you're in. You start to pay attention to thoughts that are coming in and out of your mind. That's all part of it. When you become aware that that has happened, however, smile, come back to that sound of your breath. Couple more moments here, soaking up this stillness. Good. Go ahead and gently blink your eyes open, and right away, let's move into our cat-cow. So hands can come a little forward on your thighs. As you inhale, you're going to rock forward on your sit bones. So you're finding that arch in your lumbar lower back. And then as you exhale, you round in, dropping your chin towards your chest. Good. Inhaling, arching. And exhaling, rounding in. And you're moving with your breath here. You can speed it up if you're feeling a little lethargic. You can slow it down if you're feeling a little anxious. You're paying attention to how your spine feels in each of these postures. Again, there's going to be places that feel really easy. There are going to be places that feel a little tighter. Hopefully, as we continue here for a few more moments, we start to find a greater sense of ease, of openness in the spine. And then you're also just enjoying how it feels to connect movement with breath here. You're finding the sense of rhythm in your body. This can have this really nice calming quality. It feels like a moving meditation. A few more rounds. Good. Come back to a nice tall seat. And you can kind of just refresh your posture. Peek down at your feet again. Still make sure that your knees are landing over your ankles. And then sitting nice and tall in this mountain pose, as you exhale, drop your chin towards your chest. So we start to release the back of the neck. It can always be a little cranky this first one of the day. Do less if you need to. An indication of that would be that your shoulders are trying to help out. They're moving up towards your ears. Can you send your breath into the back of your neck? Just imagining that it's creating a little space, a little ease. It's combing out any tangles. Good. Chin staying tucked here as you exhale. Start to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. And then we'll hang out here for a few breaths. Probably feeling a little more sensation on that left side of your neck. On your next exhale, come back to center. Nice inhale here, shoulder blades releasing down your back. And then exhale. Left ear towards left shoulder. You start to feel that sensation in the right side of your neck. You're taking several breaths here. Deep inhale. Exhale, come to center, and then just flowing a little bit here. Exhale, off to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. And then exhale, we go back to the right. And once again, we just stay here. We hang out, we hold. Can you notice if it's feeling a little different here? You know, we've warmed this up a little bit. It might not be, that's fine too. You can find that idea of shoulder blades releasing down your back. The shoulders stay out of the ears. If you wanted to dangle your left fingertips off your left thigh, you could play with that variation. Of course, if it feels too much when you do it, you just go back to where you were. And it's kind of like adding a little weight. It might intensify the stretch that you're feeling. The other thing you might do here is start to lift that arm any amount. That's definitely going to shift where you're getting sensation. Feel it a little more in the armpit, the back of the shoulder, the inseam of the arm. If it feels like too much, don't do it. Little check-in with your breath again. Just making sure that you're inhaling through your nose, that you're exhaling through your nose. You're keeping the inhale and the exhale really nice and even. Good. You can release your left hand back down if you took that variation. Good. And then let's inhale back to center. And exhale off to the right, or the left rather. So feeling the stretch on the right side of your neck. Maybe it's feeling a little easier now that we've warmed things up. Maybe not. I seem to be extra tight in the neck and shoulders today myself. This is kind of a hurt so good situation in my body. And you're welcome to stay here if this feels like plenty. You wanted to release your right fingertips down towards the mat. Perhaps that intensify things a little bit by adding a little weight into the system. And then maybe, you can lift that right arm a little bit and just notice where you start to feel the stretch, how it shifts, how it changes. You can release that right hand down, comes to thigh. As you inhale, drop back to center. Let's hang out here a few breaths. You wanted to release both right and left fingertips towards the mat. You can do that. Try to sit nice and tall. And then you can return your hands to your thighs as you inhale. Slowly lift your head. And then let's start to make some circles in the hips here. Nice work, everyone. You can begin to switch directions. And then let's just start to make those circles a little smaller. You're eventually just coming to that nice tall mountain pose, Tadasana. You're just taking a couple of breaths here, maybe even closing your eyes, so doing a little mini check-in. How does your seat feel different? Does it feel as though you're sitting a little taller here? So already with just a little bit of work, we're starting to find more space. We're starting to create more ease in our bodies. Blink your eyes open, release your arms down by your side. Inhale, take the arms out and up. And then exhale, kind of like you're moving through honey or molasses, press down. Inhale, forward and up so palms can face in towards each other. And exhale, forward and down. A few times like this, opening up, warming up the shoulder girdle, inhaling out and up. Exhaling out and down. Inhaling forward and up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale out and up. Exhale out and down. Inhale forward and up. And then let's stay here a few breaths. See how tall, how long you can get through the sides of your waist. Just imagine that somebody is holding you by your wrist and gently tractioning you up. Maybe you even start to bring your gaze up. And then gaze can come forward. Exhale, take the arms out wide. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, stretch out here. And then as you exhale, release your hands down. Left hand can come to the outside of your right thigh. It can be somewhere on your left thigh. Still trying to keep your legs about hips distance apart here. Shoulder heads gently pressing back. Shoulder blades gently squeezing in towards each other and releasing down towards your sit bones. Really trying to use these oblique muscles. So those muscles, those core muscles to help you twist. So those left ribs, the musculature there helps you to wrap to the right. It might be the tiniest little movement that counts. All right, so let's keep the upper body twisted like this. Inhale, take the arms out wide again. Good, full, complete exhale, twist in a little deeper. And then inhale back to center. And exhale, we twist to the left. Inhale here, grow long in the spine. And then exhale, release the hands down. This side might feel different. So again, that right hand can be on your left thigh. It could be on your right thigh. You're just finding a little leverage plus the strength of those oblique muscles on the right side to help you wrap the right ribs to the left. Shoulder heads pressing back, sternum gently lifting. So there's a sense of cobra pose in the upper body, even as your spine is twisting. Breath is smooth and steady. Moving your gaze in the direction of that left shoulder. All right, and then inhale, stay in the twist, but extend your arms straight. Exhale, twist in a little deeper. Inhale, come back to center. Good, let's take an exhale here. And spin your palms up to face towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach up overhead. Beautiful. And then let's exhale, swan dive in, or you could use your hands to help you fold in. Let's find our Uttanasana, little forward fold. Surrounding your spine. This could be a really great place to use blocks if you have them. They just serve to bring the floor a little closer. Chin releases towards your chest, so you're lengthening the back of your neck, that cervical and thoracic spine. Using gravity here to help you find space between the discs in your vertebra. As you inhale, perhaps you press into your shins or your thighs, or again, you could be using those blocks. We're going to find that half forward fold. So our Ardha Uttanasana, you root into your sit bones, and then from that rooted down feeling, you start to lengthen and extend through the sides of your waist. Your gaze is slightly forward. And then let's exhale, fold in again. And then let's keep the spine rounded, but start to roll up like your little rag doll. Stacking the vertebrae on top of each other, starting from the bottom of the spine and then working your way all the way up. When you get there, you can give the shoulders a roll out again. Really nice. Let's move into some Ardha Surya Namaskara, so some of our half sun salute. So arms releasing by your side. As you inhale, you can reach the arms out and up or forward and up. Sometimes that's just dictated by the space that we're in. As you exhale again, you can swan dive in here using a little core, or you can use your hands to help you roll all the way down, dropping chin towards chest. Inhale, press into your blocks or hands to shins or thighs, chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, folding back in. And then inhale, you can do that reverse swan dive out. You can roll up. And exhale, hands release down. Inhaling, reaching up. Utthita Hastasana into Dasana, extended mountain. Exhale, Uttanasana, this deep forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. This is our half forward fold. Exhale, back into the forward fold, Uttanasana. And then inhaling, finding lots of space and length in the spine as you reach all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. So let's do 3 more of these. You can just move with your breath. If you'd rather just do simple cat-cow, that also is a great little vinyasa to play with. Let these feel really good and smooth and graceful in your body. Take your time, there's no rush. Feel very fluid and graceful. These look terrific. When you're done with that third round, you're just pausing in your mountain pose, palms together at your heart, eyes closed, checking in again, noticing how you're feeling, noticing what's shifting in your body, noticing how your breath is feeling different, your headspace. All right, so gently blink your eyes open here. Let's come into a version of crescent pose. So you can either keep your legs exactly where they're at. If you would like to extend your left leg to straight, you're welcome to do that. So we keep the legs hips distance apart. And release your arms by your sides. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Again, find that idea of somebody, just imagine that somebody is holding your wrist, gently tractioning you up towards the ceiling. So you're getting all of that length to the sides of your waist. Maybe you start to bring your gaze up. You might even press your palms together if that's available. It's often dictated by shoulder flexibility. Feel those sit bones rooting down. And then bring your gaze forward. As you exhale, make a cactus shape and see if you can kind of lean your wrists back or rock your elbows forward. Good. Deep inhale here. And then exhale again, kind of like you're moving through molasses. Just do a little press here. Inhale, open up. Feel the backs of the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Exhale. Give yourself a little resistance as you press in. Inhaling, opening up. Nice work. Exhale, pressing in. 3. Good. Inhale, open. Exhale, press in. 2. Inhale, open up. Good. Exhale, press in. Good. Inhale, open up. Exhale, extend the elbows to straight. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. Take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale again. We find our twist. So left hand to your right thigh. It also might be on your left thigh. If you do have that left leg extended, notice how this twist feels a little different from the first one we did. Maybe it feels a little easier to wrap those left ribs to the right. Go take a deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to unwind. Let's give ourselves a hug. Right arm is on top. Left arm is underneath, so elbows stacking on top of each other. Keep your spine nice and tall, so we're not going for the cat-cow stretch so much as we are. And this is getting into the shoulder. So inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, release down. Good. Inhaling, elbows lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, 3. Inhale up. Exhale, 2. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release down. So just inhale to that center space. Take an exhale here. Inhale, open the arms out wide. Good. And then let's inhale, take the arms up overhead. Maybe gaze up again, press palms together. And then as you exhale, you can bring hands to heart center. We're going to start to forward fold here. This is, again, a great place to use your blocks. You'd also have hands resting on your legs. Some of us might have fingertips to the floor. So this becomes more of a hamstring stretch, especially if that left leg is extended to straight. You can kind of control that by bending the knee. If you want a little more, you could kind of flex that left foot. You could even take your left hand to your left thigh, or left foot rather, and gently pull back. And of course, as always, if doing any of those variations feels like too much, you play around. You figure out how to make the pose work in your body. A few more breaths here. And then drop your chin towards your chest here, so kind of rounding in. And then again, like a little rag doll, slowly roll on up. Might get a little head rush at the top. And then if you have that left leg extended, go ahead and pull it back in, and we'll take our second side. So option, can always keep the legs here in your Tadasana pose. If you'd like to extend the right leg to straight, you're welcome to do so. Feel both of those sit bones pressing down. That helps you to find that length to the sides of your waist. And then we're going to inhale, take the arms out and up. That helps us to find even more length. So you've just got several breaths here in this initial crescent pose. You might start to roll your gaze up towards the ceiling. You might gently press your palms together. Breath smooth and steady, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. And then start to bring your gaze forward. Cactus your arms again, and then kind of lean the elbows forward, the arms back, so you're feeling that maximal opening across those pectoral muscles, your chest. Deep inhale. Exhale. Give yourself a little resistance. Imagine that you're using one of those fly machines. I think that's what it's called. Actually, don't quote me on that. Maybe it's a press. All right, exhale in 3. Good, inhale. Exhale 2. Good, inhale. Exhale 1. Good, inhale here. Feel that openness across your heart and chest. Exhale, bring the arms to straight. And let's inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. I can't remember if this is exactly what I did. Exhale, bring the arms out wide. One more deep inhale. We get there eventually. As you exhale, twist to the left. And then you can release your hands down. So being mindful to keep your legs hips distance apart. Your right hand can be on your left thigh. It can be on your right thigh. Just trying to find a little leverage to gently press your shoulder heads back. Think cobra pose in the upper body. Maybe slowly rolling your gaze out over that left shoulder. All right, deep inhale here. Exhale, start to unwind the twist. Give yourself that hug. Left elbow stacks on top of right, so you're holding your shoulder blades here. And then spine staying nice and tall, so you're rooting into your sit bones. The only thing changing is that you inhale, you lift your elbows. Exhale, release them down. So it's more like you're getting into the shoulder girdle here. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhale, release. Inhale, 3. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lift, 4. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift, 5. Exhale. Good. Inhale, just come to that center place. Good. Take the arms out wide. And then inhale, reach the arms out and up. Maybe gaze up, maybe press palms. And then we find our forward fold. So again, you can use your hands on your thighs, fingertips to blocks or to the floor. Bend in the right knee takes a little of the stretch out of the hamstring. If you want a little more, you could bring your right hand to your right foot, gently pull back. And then start to melt your chin towards your chest. So you're lengthening through the back of your neck. You're rounding in your spine. And you're going to start to roll up. Good. You can bend that right knee. So before we move into some breath work, let's just find a little hip opening. We've done a lot of twisting and then more neutral poses. So we're going to just stretch out the hips, the glutes a little bit. So option 1 is to find a little external rotation with this right leg. You can take your right hand and gently press back. The other variation that you might play with here is to cross that right ankle above your right knee. And they're both good. They're both doing similar things. That being said, they're also doing slightly different things. So you can kind of play around and see which variation is calling to you the most today. In the seated version, you can press your right hand down into that thigh. So you're kind of trying to find more release of that knee down towards the floor. If the hips are really tight, you won't need to do much of that. Just sitting here like this can be quite intense. Visualize that exhale going to the outer right hip, the glute area, creating some space and ease. And then if you're getting enough stretch here, stay here like this. If you'd like to intensify things a little bit, maybe you start to forward fold. Hands can be resting anywhere on your legs. Maybe they come to those blocks. Good. As you inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, you can bring your hands to your thighs, and then inhale, use a little push to come on up. Uncross this right ankle, and then we take our second side, which could look different than the first side. So again, options are this seated pigeon pose, left ankle crosses above right, flexing the foot to help protect the knee, maybe gently pressing down, or finding more of a warrior two leg. If you're doing this variation, just making sure your knee is over your ankle, and then just maybe using the strength of your arm to help press that thigh back behind you, any amount. Breath smooth and steady. So in this variation that I'm doing, in addition to the hip stretch, I definitely get more of a stretch on the inseam of the leg, the groin area, which can be kind of nice, albeit intense. You might be getting curious about how this side feels different in your body. And then if this feels like enough stretch for you, just stay where you are. If you'd like to kind of shift things a little bit, perhaps intensify things, you can find that forward fold. And hands can be resting anywhere on your legs. You might be using your blocks. Some of us might be able to bring fingertips to the floor. They're all good places to be. Good. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, hands can come to your legs. And then inhale, press up. Nice work. Come back to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. So just finding a nice, comfortable seat, feeling nice and tall through the sides of your waist. Maybe just observing how this seat feels different than when we first started. So hopefully it feels like there's more space. And then let's just work with our wave breath today. It feels apropos, given current events, current weather events. So with our wave breath, we are going to kind of just imagine that you're sitting on an ocean beach and just waves always come in like set. So first wave comes in a little smaller, the next one's a little bigger, the next one's a little bigger still. We're going to do that with our breath. So we're all going to take a nice deep inhale here together. Full, complete exhale. Just going to sip in a little breath. It's a tiny wave. And then you'll exhale the air out through your nose. Next wave's coming in. It's a little bigger, so fill up a little further. Exhale all of the breath out. And that third wave is coming in, a little bigger still. Exhale the breath out. We got two more waves coming in, so the next one's coming in, a little bigger than the last. Exhale the air out through your nose. And this is the biggest wave coming in. This is the one you want to catch. Fill all the way up. Little pause at the top. And then exhale the air out through your nose. And then you just take a few recovery breaths here. And then let's just do that. So let's do 2 more sets of 5 waves. So you're just going to kind of move at your own pace. No rush. Between each set, you'll take a couple of breaths. It's kind of a reset. And you're still working with the wave breath. Just take your time finishing up, but we're all going to eventually move towards the final resting pose here, Shavasana. So you're probably going to stay exactly where you are, but you're going to kind of shift how things are feeling a little bit. So you're finding this receptive seat. You're finding a little sense of relaxation here, of letting go, of surrendering. If it's helpful for you to take a supported forward fold, if there's a desk or a chair in front of you, sometimes that can be really calming. You're certainly always welcome to come into classic Shavasana laying down on the floor if that is available to you. But wherever you're at, just give yourself permission to soak up these final moments, to be still, to assimilate the work that we've spent this past hour doing together. Shavasana. Asato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Let your next inhale be deeper. You can open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Begin to bring some gentle movement back to your body. So circle ankles, wrists, wiggle fingers, toes, stretch out any movement that feels good here. And you'll eventually land with your hands in a pile on top of your heart. So sending yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for making the effort. Send each other love and gratitude for the support we show each other. And finally, just promise yourself you're going to carry this good feeling that you worked so hard to create with you into the rest of the day, week, weekend ahead. And finally, just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today, everybody. Thank you.